Good morning and happy Sunday. It went fast this week, so we're already back to me and another segment of Children's Time with Rochelle. Sometimes I just can't believe how fast the weeks go. But anyway, I hope you guys had a good one. It was kind of cold and snowy. Actually, I shouldn't say kind of cold. It was really cold. I was freezing most of the week. But it sounds like this coming week is supposed to be beautiful. So we may have a really nice warm Thanksgiving. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. All right, so we're going to get started. We are still making our way through all of Jesus's parables. And today we have another one. It's called the Parable of the Talents. And the way they're using talents in this story isn't probably the way that you guys think of the word talent. But we'll read the story and then we'll kind of talk about that and just clarify it for you guys. So I've got my handy dandy Spark Bible. That's my best friend this year. And we will get started. So the story again is called The Parable of the Talents. And here is our pictures. So what do those guys have in their hands? That looks like coins or money. That is actually what Jesus is referring to in the story as talents. So it's actually a form of currency or a form of money. So it'd be like a dime or a penny or a quarter. But back in Jesus' time, there was a coin that was called a talent. So we'll read the story and see what Jesus has to say and what point he's trying to get across with this story. So, Parable of the Talents. Jesus told a story about using the gifts God gives us. A man was going on a trip. I need someone to take care of my money, he thought. He called his servants and handed each of them some talents. Take care of this money while I am away, he said. Two of the servants went to the market. They traded their talents and made more talents. One servant was too afraid. He dug a hole and buried his talents. The man returned, and two servants handed him more than they had been given. Good job, the man said. You shall have even more talents. The third servant brushed the dirt away from his talents. I was afraid, he said, and I buried my talent. Give your talents to the others, the man said. You did not use what I gave you. I will not give you any more. So, this is kind of a play on words, or Jesus is using the word talents kind of to mean two things in this story. So not only was it a form of money or a form of currency back then, but he's also using that word talent to describe like a person's talents. So all people have some sort of talent. You may not think you have any talents, but if you really think about it, most people do have something that they're probably pretty good at. Some of you may be able to play an instrument. Some of you might be really good at sports. Some of you may be really smart and good at your homework and your studies. Other people might be really good at just doing like puzzles or drawing. So there's all sorts of things that people can be good at. So Jesus is saying that if God gave you special talents and you don't want to hide those, like the man that hid his coin in the dirt, you want to spread those talents around and use your talents to spread God's word. And so by you spreading the word using your talent, you're getting more people to come back and be interested in learning about Jesus and about God. And that's what the other two servants did with their money. They took their money to the market and they made more money using the money that they had. So they brought back more money back to their master, and he was so happy that he gave them even more. So the point that Jesus was trying to make is that he wants you to use your talents to spread the word about God, and don't bury them or keep them inside to yourself. So that's kind of a confusing story and a difficult story to understand, but I'm going to get go into my Spark workbook and maybe we can explain it just a little bit better so you guys can understand it. So let me find my page. So I'll do my quick recap. If I can find it. Here we go. So here is my Parable of the Talents page. And I'm just going to read this quick little recap, and maybe that'll help us kind of understand the story a little better. So it says, God gives us talents. I'll start over. I can't even read the page correctly. A rich man needed someone to care for his money. He gave some money to 3 servants. 2 used the money to earn more money. The 3rd servant was afraid and buried his money. The rich man was happy with the first 2 servants and gave them even more money. But the man was disappointed with the 3rd servant and made him give his money back. So Jesus wants us to use God's gifts for good. He doesn't want us to hide God's gifts. He wants us to go out and spread them around and share them with people. So I have a couple activities that we'll talk about today. This first one is kind of fun, and this is something I want you guys to do with your family. And I did it with my family, even though my family's not here. So I just did it by myself about my family. But it's called Make Time for Photo Fun. And here we are, down here. And it basically says, list the talents, gifts, and skills of each person in your family. Take pictures of each other using the talents that you have. And then you can decorate, it says you could decorate a small photo album and give it the title, Our Family Talents from God, and place the photos in the album. And then you guys can tell that parable to each other. So what I didn't make an album, but I actually got some pictures of my family with their talents, what they're good at, and I was going to show those to you. So if you guys don't know, I think most of you probably know, there's 4 people in my family. There's me, my husband, Jason, my oldest daughter, Taylor, who's away at college in Bozeman, and then my younger daughter, Riley, who is a sophomore at Shepherd. So we'll start with Riley because she's the youngest. So one of Riley's first talents that she's really good at, and she doesn't like to admit that she's good at it, and she kind of tries to not want to do this, but when she does it, she's always really good, is that she is a really good softball player. So here is her softball picture, and I think this is actually like 2 years ago, so it's kind of a little old one, but that is her first talent, being a good softball player. Another thing that Riley's really good at, and I put this one on my phone, but I'll still hold it up, is she is a really good cross-country runner. So that picture is from this year. That was her meet, their home meet at Eagle Rock Golf Course, and that is her running. So that is another one of her talents. And the third talent that Riley's really good at that I don't really have a picture of is that she's really smart. She gets really good grades, and she is really good about doing her homework. So that is another good talent of Riley's. All right. My second daughter, Taylor, who I said is away at college at Bozeman, but so the pictures I have, one of them's pretty new, but the first one's kind of old. But she was really good, and her team was really good when they played. She's a really good basketball player. So that's her shooting right there. And that's in high school, so she went out to Shepherd as well. But that was Taylor's first talent, and one she's really good at. So that's basketball. And this picture is from this summer, and it was a good one. Taylor is also a really good fly fisherman. And we took that this summer. We went over to Columbus, and we were fishing on the Stillwater, and she caught that nice trout. So Taylor is a good fly fisherman. And that is a good talent because you can actually feed yourself or your family with that talent. All right, so now we'll go to me. My talents aren't quite as physical as my family's talents, but I do think I have some good talents. And I didn't really have any pictures of myself. I do have some pictures of myself, but there are a couple of things that I'm good at that I didn't really have pictures of me doing. But the first thing and the most important thing is I think that I'm a good mom. And here's a picture of me with my family. I'm in the middle. That's me when we're going hiking. And that was this summer as well. So I think I'm a good mom and a good wife. So that's my first talent. My next talent, I didn't have a picture of me doing this, but it is something that I love to do and I'm good at. And this is actually one of the ones that I got done. And I'll turn it sideways so it's easier. Is I love to do puzzles. So this was a 1,000-piece Broadway musical puzzle that I finished this summer. So that is another one of my talents. And my third talent, which involves you guys, and I had to take a picture of my youth group, is that I think that I'm a pretty good youth leader and I'm pretty good with kids. So there is my youth group. This is actually when we went on our mission trip to Minnesota and we were at a Twins baseball game. So there's me down here. And you might know some of those people. We got Julia and Meta, there's Ava and Ruby and Riley and Emily. And way back there you can see Banked and Ryan and Leif. So you might see one of those guys around church some of the time, but I think I'm a pretty good youth leader. So that was another one of my talents. And finally, last but not least, is my husband, Jason. He is really an outdoor guy. So his first talent is that he is a really good bow hunter. And this is an old picture because he doesn't have his mustache or his beard in this picture. So that's pretty old, but he's actually shooting his bow. So that was his first talent. And his second talent, I only did 2 for him because most of his are all the same. But this one is a more current picture too because he has glasses and everything. But he, like Taylor, is a really good fisherman, really good fly fisherman. So I think that one is actually on the Bighorn and over by Hardin. And he caught a really nice trout. So that's his talent. So I want you guys to do that with your families. Go through your pictures and maybe like I had just had pictures of my kids and my husband doing what they're good at. And I bet you guys, your family would have pictures of you guys doing that too. And either put them on a board or make a photo album, like they said, something that you guys can look at and remember what you're talented at and remember that you need to share that with people. God gave you that talent for a reason. So that is a fun little thing you guys can do together. The last thing I want you guys to do is if you want to do this afternoon after you watch my lesson, it will give you something to do on a Sunday afternoon, or you can just do it anytime this week. I want you, this is called Make Time for Thank You Card Fun. So everyone in God's family is important and has special talents that may be used in the church. I want you to design a thank you card that says, thank you for your talents or talent. You can write, and I'll show you mine. I did thank you on the front, and then when you open it, it says thank you for your talents on the inside. But I want you to write a short note of thanks to somebody in your church. So you could either write it to Pastor Tim or Pastor Elizabeth or Sydney, who runs our office. She's very busy. Make sure that all our bulletins are printed and our online service gets on the computer every Sunday. So she really probably could use a big thank you from all of us. You could write a thank you to Mike, who plays our organ for our Sunday services, Diana, who was in the parking lot and did all of our piano and music playing when we were in parking lot services. And she also has filled in and done some for Mike when he was gone as well. She'd be a good one. Maybe your youth leader could use a little thank you. Just kidding. I know you guys are thankful, but that's another idea if you just wanted to throw that in there. Even maybe Tony, if you guys have never met Tony at our church, she is our cleaning lady and she keeps our church spick and span and makes sure that we always have toilet paper and all our kitchen supplies are stocked. So that's another person that could use a big thank you. But I want you to guys make a thank you and then have your mom put it in an envelope. Put an address on it to the church. Our address is 5 Lewis Avenue, Billings, Montana 59101, and it's American Lutheran Church. And then have her put a stamp on it and mail it to us because we would love to hear from you guys. So here is my thank you card. I did thank you on the outside and on the inside for your talents. And I drew a pretty flower. And who did I do my thank you card to? I did mine to Pastor Tim and Pastor Elizabeth. So I'll read you my thank you. Thank you, Pastor Tim and Pastor Elizabeth, for being such wonderful church leaders and for keeping our church family connected through online services, Bible studies, phone calls, and texts. You both keep us together spiritually when we can't be together physically. Thank you so much, Rochelle. So there is just a little idea that you guys can do. And that was my thank you card. All right, guys, that is it for today. It was kind of a long lesson today. I'm sorry I took up some time. So let's get done and get our prayer, and I will let you guys get moving. All right, praying hands. Are you guys ready? All right. Loving God, thank you for giving us talents we can use today to share your love with the world. Amen. All right, you lovely kiddos, have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.